Today we are again down in my shed, and we are going to look into this one. And this is a machine from Zenith data system, not the most known brand in the computer business, but Zenith actually did have a name back in the day, and they also had other equipment. And this is a laptop that shares a lot with the Toshibas that we already presented. And I can give you some size comparisons here to see the systems that this should look like. This is the T1100 Plus, and as you can see, it's a bit smaller, but not by much. It has about the same thickness, about the same depth, and it's only a bit smaller. And the weight of these is almost similar too, but the 1100 has the batteries inside, and I think this has the battery removed because it does feel a bit light. And I can first give you a little walkthrough of this machine. It does have some blocked connectors here, and this is connectors for a modem or other telecom equipment, I think. And on the back here you have a flip that reveals an external floppy drive connector. Again, blocked out connections and RGB video, and this is 9-pin. That means that this is CGA or a Hercules or MDA. And a 25-pin serial connector and a normal printer connector. And on this side you have the DC in jack, and you have the power switch. This is a slide knob like this. And on the bottom we do have serial number stickers, and this states that this is a laptop computer model ZFL line 181 line 92, and it uses DC 12 volt, and it's made by the Zenith Data Systems Corporation in Japan. And there is no date sticker or other kind of markings, and there was a label here that's been removed. And here you can see that this compartment where the blocked out connectors for telephone lines and such, there are 3 screws to remove this lid to insert this as an expansion card. And we are just going to take a quick peek inside the battery compartment. This is the room here, to see that there is no battery inside, or that if there is a battery, it's not heavily damaged or has made corrosion in the computer. Yeah, like so. And the battery is removed. We do have some other expansion card in here, and my guess is that this would be a memory expansion. And we have the connector here for the battery. So there is a possibility to do a power injection in this if we can't get the power to work. And nowhere here it's stated if this is center positive or center negative on the jack for the power. So maybe we can, in the same time we are in here, we can just do a quick measurement on this to see if one of the pins here on the power connector has continued to the black lead here. Yeah, it does look to me like, I will put this on in ohms so I don't get the noise, and I can do a bit of a better fine coarse measurement. I connect now this to the black wire. The black wire is earth on this, and you see, so this machine actually has a center negative connection, so that means that we have to be aware of that. And this connection probably looks like this will fit. I don't think it actually went in far enough. I will see if I can find some. I do also have this, and it's a bit other shape. Yeah, and this I think fitted rather nice, and I can test that with just measuring now from the ground pin here and to this to see if there is connection. And of course it's not the ground pin, this is center positive, so it's of course this one that should be connected to the center, and it is. So that means that we do have most of the things we need to actually test this computer, but I will be inspecting it a bit further before. We have not even opened the lid yet. Some rather sturdy screws for a battery compartment, I think. Yeah, I will give this a bit more overhead light. Like so, I think. I forgot to turn on the white light on this, so hope the rest of the footage is okay. But now I will try to open this machine, and it does have the nice sliders here, and this is quite the big box. This is the screen, and we will focus on this one. And this is contrast and brightness. You have drive A and drive B, and how does this work? Okay. This is some fancy shit. This is the dummy floppy drives from back in the day for transportation and stuff, and they're still in the computer, so that's actually a nice feature. And this machine was also sold originally in Norway, so it has the Norwegian keyboard layout. And you have here LCD RGB on one button that you can change on the fly probably. No fooling around with dip switches, so that's a nice touch. And you also have a numlock overlaid on the normal keyboard here, but was quite common. But all in all, this looks totally clean, and it's almost looks like it's not been used. It might have been clean good though, because I do see some finger marks on these here, but nothing much. And this kind of drive mechanism, it's safe to say I have never ever been inside and serviced something like this. And this is the counterpart to the lockings, and I first thought that there was some switch here, and it might be, but this might also just be a feature to avoid dirt getting into the inside of the machine when the lid is off. Yes, but this now stated 12 volt. I'm going to disconnect these leads here, that's here from a prior test, and I'm going to turn on this El Cheapo lab supply. And as we do remember that this was center negative, I have to reverse the colors here, and I will have to adjust this to 12 volt like so. We are going to measure that, of course. We don't like surprises. When I measure like this, it should be a positive number on the multimeter. I do get some mixed readings on this. Yeah, but when I hold this firmly, it's okay. Yeah, then I will assume that it's safe to plug this in. I will have the power off. I will switch this on, and I do try first without a floppy, and I will try to turn off the light here and focus the camera on the monitor so that you will be able to see if anything happens on the screen. So let me just try to set up that like so, and then I turn off some lights in here. Yeah, now it should be dark and you see my shadow in front of the other lights. That's unavoidable. This time it's all about the Zenith Z181 92, and this is a machine I had in my possession for some time, and I bought it off the internet in unknown condition. And the machine looks rather nice. Zenith data systems are almost forgotten today, but in 1985 they was overall the second largest PC-compatible company after Compaq, and they had a lot of their sale to the authorities and government customers in the USA. They also was one of the pioneers and was one of the first to launch IBM compatible with LCD screen and also running on batteries. And the first computer they offered in this field, the Z171, was an OM product from Vadem, and this was launched in 1985, and it was also sold under other names. For example, it was sold as the Osborne Encore. But the Z181 was manufactured by Zenith themselves, and two models was launched, and ours is the older 181-92. The 181-93 offered, it was basically the same computer, but it offered twice the clock speed of the CPU, and it also had slightly better battery life. And the computer is running an 80C88 on 4.77 MHz, and it had 640K of memory. And it was shipped with the DOS2 something, and it has two built-in 720 kilobyte floppy drives, and it has 25 lines by 80 columns LCD with a black and white backlight LCD, and it was also spoken about as the best black and white LCD back in that time. And the battery life was 3 to 4 hours, and they had an AC adapter that was center negative, and the machine weighs about 5.4 kilos without the power supply but including the battery. And this machine was launched in 1986. And this is from the sales brochure that was printed when this machine was launched. And they do offer this as a portable business laptop. And of course, a pricey thing as a laptop back in the day was a business issue anyway. And here they state the technical specification and some of the benefits with buying a slightly more expensive system from Zenith than from the competition. And most Zenith or Heatkit, as they also was known, some of their computers, they actually bought the Heatkit company back in the day. They have a built-in machine code monitor, so if you press Ctrl Alt and the function key and insert, you will enter the monitor program. And you could also run this from the start of the system if you pushed escape when the system was about to boot. And this was quite a unique feature, and I don't know of any other manufacturers that had the same functionality. And I have not found a complete service manual, but the owner's manual covers most of the topics of a normal service manual. And that was quite the thing back in the day. It was the same with the original IBM computer. The complete schematics and stuff was part of the owner's manual. And this manual gives us everything we need to change part and to take the machine apart, but it does not give us a complete schematics of the system. And nothing happens. And there is no power draw at all. And of course it can be that these machines need to have the battery inside to get this to switch off, on I mean. And of course this machine could have been broken from the start. This was a machine I actually bought El Cheapo of the internet on the Norwegian classified site finn.no, and I paid 400 kronas for this, as it looks to be in excellent condition. Otherwise I do think it was a bargain at the time, even though it's not working. but it might be something with the switch, it might be something else. But what I will do is I will try to inject power into the battery compartment instead, and then I will have to deduct how many batteries was in there, or I can start with a low voltage and increase the voltage, because some of these machines will at least give a low power warning if the battery is too weak. So we will have to change the positions on this, and I will have to, I can turn off on some light. I will have to change the camera angle again so that you will see what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm just going to take off this this lid here, and I'm trying to find out how I can connect some leads to inject power into this. And I don't have a connector that fits right into this, but I might be able to fix something here. Yeah, the solution I'm choosing to inject power in this is actually this one, and this is the ATX connector from a motherboard. I think this is a similar connector, but it was 2 pins here that was already had the leads clipped off. So I just clipped off the plastic of this, and I'm going to just connect power to these 2 lines. And I do have to suppose that the color schemes on this is right. Of course we can check that with ohm. It's always common ground, and if I take this and measure this against, yeah, and if I measure from ground here and until this one, it actually is the same. So I will just have to wiggle this to make this the right voltage, but I am not sure how many battery cells there was in here. But if we judge this by the size of the compartment, I do think that it was 6 cells that was in this, and this is a 7.2 volt battery pack, as it has been in some of the other machines. But I can start with 6 volt output, and I will adjust the voltage to 6 volt like so, and I will connect some leads to this with some way of injecting this, and that will be something along the lines of this. Now it's positive and negative like so, and I do feel it's right to have the yellow one on this and the positive lead here. And if I'm going to inject this like so, it will be this way around to have this connected with the colors. And now this is getting 6 volt. We will not take on the lead. We will try to keep these wires separate, and I will try to turn this around in an orderly fashion like so. And I will just try to check. There is no low power light here, and there is, I can measure that I do actually have turned the power supply on, and measure on the back of these, and it's giving out 6 volt. I will there's absolutely no life in this, and I turn this off, and it's not drawing any power either. I will check that my connection is still valid, and it is. So there is power coming into the system, that's for sure. I will try to adjust this again and set this to 7.2 volt. That I do think is the right voltage. 7. No, this is giving me 7 volt. There is no low voltage, and there is no life in this. As I was about to stop the work on this computer, I browsed through the owner's manual and found that the battery pack is pictured with 10 cells. And 10 1.2 volt cells translates to 12 volt. And when I searched further, I found this in the sales brochure, and of course I should have seen that when I first went through that. But the battery pack is actually 12 volt, and that means when I inject power to simulate a fully charged battery, I should of course use 12 volt. But I did test the Zenith with 10 volt, 11 volt and finally 12 volt without any difference, and that was to see if there was some voltage that would trigger the low battery indicator or if it was totally dead all the way. But it's sad to say that the Zenith is all dead. Nothing I could do with injecting power could bring this system to life. Yeah, so that's the sorry state that this machine is in. It looks to be in crisp condition. But I do have a theory that sadly often holds up for these old computers. And that is that someone found this in the attic. The power supply was long gone. And they just took some other 12 volts, or they maybe even didn't bother with that. They just took the laptop power supply with 19 or 20 volt and connected it into this machine and tried to turn it on and burn the power, or in worst case they burned something on the main board besides the power. And even though if they took a 12 volt power supply, if this was a modern supply, it will have a center positive lead, so they will have connected it the wrong way. And there might be some protection circuit that's gone on this machine, and there might be just a simple fix, maybe a fuse or something, because there was some reverse polarity diode or something that made the current be quite high at the startup. But that's beyond the scope of this episode. So that's it for this episode about my Zenith data systems. I'm very sorry that I was not able to see how this display actually worked and what kind of quality this machine had. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you again in my next installment in this series. And please hit like and subscribe if you want to be notified. See you in the next one.